Welcome back to Story Stash. I'm your host Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today I'm reading from my book Ghost Whisperer, and this is Chapter 5. Chapter 5. A few minutes later, Ed arrived at the Office of U.S. Public Affairs. Connor floated along beside him. Ed glanced at the ghost before opening the door. Inside was a modest waiting area with a reception desk. It was early and no one else was about, so he approached the reception desk. "Good morning, may I help you?" asked the cheerful-sounding receptionist. "Yes, I need to talk with a senior case officer on an urgent matter of national security. Code in is Diamond 940, said Ed. Her demeanor changed instantly. "May I see your ID?" Ed handed her his driver's license. It was all he had. "Please wait here, sir. I'll get someone to talk to you." She carded a door and walked through, taking his ID with her. "Remain calm. Make no hostile moves. They may try to test you," said Connor. Ed noticed several wall-mounted cameras pointed in his general direction. The receptionist returned about 2 minutes later. She gave back his ID. "Please come with me," she said. Ed followed her through the door. Inside were several armed guards and a metal detector. He smiled and nodded at the guards. "Please empty your pockets into this tray," said a guard. It sparked their curiosity when he placed a walkie-talkie in the tray. After passing through the metal detector, he collected his things and followed the receptionist to a meeting room. He sat down at a large conference table and placed the radio in front of him. She left the room. Ed noticed multiple wall-mounted cameras looking at him. A minute later, in came a tall, dark-haired man. He sat opposite Ed and stared at him for a minute. "You know the code you gave the receptionist is inactive?" he asked. "Yes," said Ed. "I needed to get your attention so you'd take me seriously." "Well, you have my full attention. Now tell me why I shouldn't have you arrested, or worse." "That code belonged to a recently deceased case officer. He died before he could complete his mission." "I'm not saying you're correct, but if you are, so what?" "He gave me something, with instructions if he didn't make it. 2 days ago, I dialed Langley to arrange handover of the item. It wasn't the CIA that met me, but the opposition. They abducted me and stole the item." "If that's true, how come you're here?" "I knew they'd likely kill me, so I escaped. On my way out, I stole one of their radios. Now they're trying to recapture me. I heard them talking on the radio. They spoke in some foreign language." He picked up the radio and looked it over. Ed pressed his luck. "There are 2 important points I want to stress. 1, that Langley is compromised. You have a double agent. 2, there are foreign agents working in Seattle." He stared at Ed in surprise. "Tell me, what was the name of this deceased case officer?" "Connor Price," said Ed. "And what was the number in Langley you called?" 703-555-6023. "But don't call it because it's compromised," said Ed. The man jotted down his answers in a notepad. "Please wait here. I'll have someone check out this radio. I'll also check that number with Langley myself." "Okay," said Ed. He didn't really have a choice. The man took the radio and left. Ed gestured at Connor, who nodded and floated through the door, following the man. Ed sat quietly in the meeting room. Conscious of the camera, he refrained from doing anything to sabotage his objective. He needed them to believe him and take action. Connor was gone for a while. Fortunately, they didn't tie him to a chair. Perhaps they'd offer him a coffee. Finally, the tall, dark-haired man returned, carrying a folder. This time he held out his hand. "I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm Noah Johnson. We had to verify your claims before continuing." "What did you discover?" Noah passed a document with a pen to Ed. "I need you to sign this. It's the Espionage Act. It says you can't tell anyone about this or we kill you," he said with a grin. Ed shrugged and signed the document. He didn't think not signing a document would protect him. Noah took back the document and checked the signature. "The number you gave me was a direct line to a case officer in Langley," Connor Price reported to him. "I had some of our folks take that radio outside and listen in. They heard chatter in Russian." "So they're still nearby?" asked Ed. "It seems so. We're going to track their signals. I can give you the address where they held me. It's a warehouse near the waterfront. The vehicle they used to capture me was a dark van. I didn't get the license plate, though." Noah noted the address. "Please wait here," he said. He was gone about 2 minutes. When he returned, he brought in 2 mugs of coffee. "You look like you needed something," said Noah. He passed the mug to Ed. Ed sipped the brew. He'd missed his morning coffee. Connor returned and stood near the wall, behind Noah. "We've sent squads to hunt down the foreign agents. You should wait here for your safety," said Noah. "Yes, as those foreign agents are hunting for me. Hey, wait, I have an idea." He handed his phone to Noah. "They were tracking me by my phone, so I turned it off. Have your team turn it on, and it may lure the foreign agents." Noah nodded. "I'll do that. I'm just surprised that Connor trusted you with what he did. He broke the Espionage Act, which is punishable by death." "Perhaps he knew he was as good as dead anyway," said Ed. "Perhaps. I'll return once we have the agents in custody," said Noah. He stood and left the room. A few hours passed. Finally Noah returned. "Ed, the foreign agents are in custody. Here's your phone back," said Noah. He handed Ed back his phone. "That's good news. We're working on a case against the case officer in Langley. It may take a little while. Meanwhile, you're free to return home. You should call into your workplace." "Ah, yes, I'm absent without leave," said Ed. "I had a doctor's note prepared for you. It says you had complications with your recent head injury. If they call the number on it, we'll back up the story." Ed took the note and tucked it in his pocket. It looked genuine. "That's kind of you. We take care of those who help us apprehend foreign agents. And remember, you signed that Espionage Act. Don't discuss this with anyone," said Noah. Noah handed Ed his business card. "Thank you for your service to the CIA. If you need to reach me, the contact info is on the card." Ed stood and followed Noah past the armed security. Noah left him at the reception area. Ed left the office and returned to his car. Without warning, Connor appeared in the front passenger seat of his car. "You did well back there," said Connor. "Thank you. I followed your plan. And they don't see you as a person of interest. If you're careful, they'll lose interest in you pretty quick." "I hope so. I wish everyone would leave me alone." Ed left the parkade and merged back into traffic. "While you were waiting in that meeting room, I wandered around and observed them. I'm confident they'll clean up their mess." "Good. I'm going home to see if they trash my apartment," said Ed. Ed pulled into the underground parking lot and took the elevator to his floor. When he entered his apartment, it seemed the foreign agents had failed to visit. He checked the closet and found the bag. He'd better hide that money somewhere soon. Ed turned to Connor. "Connor, I've done my best to help you. I didn't know your boss was a double agent. As it is, I helped apprehend the foreign agents, and I expect your boss will be in custody soon." "Yes, I think you did better than I'd hoped for," said Connor. "So with your mission complete, Will you pass on now? I don't know. I'm in no hurry to leave. Good. You might have made a successful agent, Ed. No thanks. I don't like all the danger. I want to go back to my quiet job writing software. All right, take care. Connor vanished. Actually, Ed was relieved to be back home. He thought about his job and realized he had to contact his boss. Ed scanned in the doctor's note and attached it to an email explaining his absence. He said he hoped to be in tomorrow. A few minutes later, he got a reply. There was no problem. He should take his time to recover. He had a good boss, one who valued him. Ed put on a fresh pot of coffee and relaxed on the sofa. It felt good to be home. He picked up his book to read, but was interrupted by the door chime. Who could that be? He said aloud. Ed walked to the door. All the foreign agents were arrested, or were they? He opened the door to see Detective Lieutenant Sarah Manning, only she looked a little translucent. Oh, crap, he said. Mr. Tanner, we need to talk, she said, looking impatient. Ed stood there in shock, looking at the ghost of Sarah Manning. Aren't you going to invite me in? She asked. Ed shook his head. I'm sorry. Please come in. I didn't expect your visit. Sarah floated past him and into the living room. He shut the door and followed her in. You're a ghost. Yes. And you died? I did. I was pursuing a serial killer and he murdered me. Ed needed a drink. This was too much to process. Of course he didn't keep any alcohol, so he poured himself a coffee. When he turned round, she was still there, waiting for him. I met the late Ian Ross after I died. He told me what you did for him and suggested I talk with you. I bet that was surprising. This seeing ghosts only started after I got attacked, you know, said Ed. I understand that you almost crossed over, which changed you somehow. Exactly. I didn't ask for this. You're the third ghost I've met since. You all want my help. We closed a cold case because of your help, and you kept your name off our radar. If I hadn't died, I might never have learned of your involvement, she said. Ed wondered how many other ghosts Ian had blubbed to. If I'd approached you with information about the murder, you might have viewed me as a suspect. He who smelt it dealt it. That's Investigation 101 in police school. Sarah had a smile on her face. Ed shrugged. You did well to get a former employee to talk to us. Once we found the body, everything fell into place, she said. Ian helped me recover my wallet and phone after I got mugged. I owed him. She nodded. How come you came to my door? The other ghosts just appear in my room, asked Ed. Old habits, I suppose. I'm new to being a ghost. And how did you ring my door chime? The other ghosts pass through solid objects. I don't know. I had the intention of ringing it, and before my finger touched it, it rang. Well, that's a neat trick. You might do other things like that. It could be useful. She smiled. Anyway, I'd like your help to catch this serial killer. I think together we have an edge, she said. No offense, but I just want to go back to my job creating software. There's a dangerous serial killer on the loose. He'll kill me again unless we do something. You tried and died for your troubles. I'm afraid if I get involved, I'll get killed too, said Ed. Or the police will think you're the killer, she said. Exactly. If I'm to help you, you'd better tell me all you can. Then we'll figure out what we can do. Agreed. Sarah looked at Ed. We'd finished with the Ian Ross murder case, and they assigned me to a joint task force to investigate a serial killer known as the Ghoul. I was following up on a lead and stumbled onto him. He got the drop on me. Did you see him? Asked Ed. Not at first. He snuck up behind me and cut my throat before I could react. Then how did you see him? Once I became a ghost, I floated out of my body. It was then I saw him. He was tall, over 6 feet, totally bald and had dark eyes. That helps. What else? I followed him after he was done with my body. He left in a blue SUV, license COM 4-555. I lost him after that. That's good. You kept your detective instincts to gather intel on the killer. That's an advantage no one else has. But I can only realize that advantage with your help. Agreed. What else can you tell me about him? He operates in the Seattle area. His victims died from knife wounds. He is skilled and fast, based on how quickly he killed me. I don't have access to all the resources your task force has. Can we narrow him down to a certain area? I can show you where I died on a map, and I can tell you where other victims died. Excellent. Just a sec, said Ed. He opened his laptop and pulled up Google Maps. Then he adjusted the map to the surrounding area. Sarah pointed a translucent finger at a spot on the screen. There, she said. Ed placed a marker. Where else? She pointed out several places, and Ed placed markers. That's all I remember, she said. That's a good start. I'm amazed you seem so calm about this. Since dying, I don't feel any of the panic. I'm dead, but I still have my sense of purpose. I want to stop this killer, and I need your help to do that. How can I help? I don't know how to tell them your description or the vehicle information without drawing attention to me. Yes, if you'd approach me, I'd have you in a cell. What if I sent in an anonymous tip? He asked. We give them a low importance. It might get missed in a sea of tips. This is better than a lead. Well, a condition of my helping you is I don't put my neck on the block. We need to think more about this. It's getting late. Can you come back in the morning? Asked Ed. She looked a little downcast. Sure, I'll meet you here at 8 a.m. With that, Sarah Manning disappeared. The next morning, Ed woke up early. He was shy around women and didn't want her to catch him in the shower. He did his morning routine and started a pot of coffee by the time she arrived. Good morning, Ed, she said. Good morning, Sarah. Ready to continue? Asked Ed. Absolutely. While you slept, I had an idea. Perhaps my police account is still active. Do you mean we log into the police department using your account? Yes, I can remember my password. I'll have to use a VPN to hide my tracks. Ed opened his laptop, started the VPN. Sarah gave him the address to connect to. After she gave him her account information, he successfully got in after a few anxious moments. We're in, said Ed. They may disconnect us at any moment. Click on that to run a license plate. Ed clicked, then entered the license plate from the SUV. They waited. It won't take long, she said. Soon the screen returned a name and an address. What are the chances that he used his own car? Asked Ed. Let's find out. Click there to pull up his driver's license photo. The computer showed the face of a bold, middle-aged man. His deep eye sockets made him look like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. That's him. He's the killer, she said. Ed got screen captures of all the information. Next, how do we tell the police? Asked Ed. We're logged in as me. Let's email the task force. That'll work. It'll also direct them to search for who hacked your account, said Ed. You said you're using a VPN, so no worries. Sarah directed Ed to wrap all the information in an email and send it to the group distribution list. There, sent, said Ed. Now I better log out before they track me down. He quickly disconnected from the police server. Thank you, Ed, she said. They'll have to take action now. They'll also lock out your credentials. It was worth it to send that email. I'll watch them to see what happens. Well, let me know how it goes. I plan to return to work tomorrow. I hope you catch your killer. Sarah faded out and was gone. Ed sat on the sofa and picked up his book. Well, that's the end of Chapter 5. In the next episode, we have Chapter 6. Ed is back at work. Ed meets Sarah and Lucy and others. Stay tuned.